Hello from Topeka. I'm Marley Carpenter, your KSCPA lobbyist. Last week, the legislature adjourned for turnaround break Thursday evening. Committees only met on Monday, leaving the next 3 days for debating and passing legislation on the floor. Any non-exempt bill that did not pass out of their house of origin or get blessed by leadership is dead for the year. When legislators return on Tuesday, they will only have 5 weeks to finish all of their business for this year. First adjournment is scheduled for March 28th, followed by a short spring break before veto session begins on April 10th. The legislature overrides the first governor's veto of the session, which is a bill that would restrict gender-affirming care for transgender youth, making Kansas the 27th state to enact such limitations. The override passed with 31 votes in the Senate and 85 votes in the House, marking a significant shift from previous years when similar vetoes by Kelly could not be overturned. The House also passed their budget bill before they left last Wednesday, which is a $10.6 billion state budget for fiscal year 2026 that breaks with several longstanding traditions in both timing and process. New this year, the legislature drafted its own spending plan from scratch rather than working from the governor's proposed budget. The bill passed with 83 votes in the House, and it cut spending by more than $246 million compared to the previous year. The accelerated budget process reflects a broader concern about the state finances, as projections show that Kansas is spending more than it is collecting in revenue over the next 6 years. By 2029, the state's ending balance is expected to drop to $152 million from its current $3.2 billion. Though $1.8 billion will remain in its rainy day fund. The Kansas Democrats did make a coordinated effort during the turnaround debates to introduce Medicaid expansion amendments in both the House and Senate chambers this week. Debate was allowed in both chambers, but the amendment did fail in both the House and the Senate. Before they left for turnaround, the Senate did approve a tax exemption for data centers. The Senate approved Senate Bill 51 by a vote of 34-6 on Wednesday that offered substantial tax exemptions to data centers that invest at least $250 million and employ 20 people. A local transparency bill, House Bill 2304, did pass the House this week that requires local cities and counties to provide information on economic development incentives to the Kansas Department of Commerce for programs initiated on or after July 1, 2025. Current law requires the Kansas Department of Commerce to maintain an economic incentives database to collect and store incentive data from state agencies. This would expand it to local agencies. The bill also allows for the Secretary of Commerce to access up to 1%, but no more than $1,000 fee for all incentives programs administered by the Department of Commerce. The House also voted to eliminate the low-income housing tax credit, which is called LIHTC, on Thursday. The bill was introduced by Representative Tarwater, and he argued that the state cannot afford the program because the impact on the state general fund is up to $25 million a year. There's discussions to negotiate the program and reduce it by half, but the Senate will take the bill up after turnaround. Also, the Senate did pass to the House a tax credit bill that would allow film production and digital media production tax credit. The bill does have a $5 million cap on the program and sets maximum credit to taxpayers to $1 million. A Star Bond exemption was passed by the Senate this week and renews the current Star Bonds program for only 3 years. The bill does extend the program to include mall redevelopment, vertical construction projects in communities less than 6,000, but it does eliminate a city or county's authority to use eminent domain for Star Bonds projects. This week, House and Senate will return on Tuesday for a full week of hearings on bills that have passed over to the second chamber. House Bill 2336 is the single factor apportionment bill, and that will be heard on Wednesday in the House Tax Committee. We are also working on Senate Bill 229, which is an occupational licensure bill that will sunset all state licenses every 5 years. We are working with other professions to exempt CPAs from the bill if it does advance. We will continue to watch these issues as well as many others. If you have any questions, please contact myself or Danielle at the KSCPA office. Thanks so much and have a great week.